What's up, everybody? It's Ian here with the Seek First Adventure, and we are continuing our restoration project on our 1976 Airstream. So our next big project is going to be to paint the frame. We got all of the rust and the old paint cleaned off of it. I used the Eastwood Contour surface conditioning tool as well as wire brushes and some other stuff to get all that cleaned off. And that was a huge project. Whenever you have 31 feet of frame, it takes a while. So I definitely feel like the next time I'm going to want to sandblast it. So now that it's all cleaned up, we have to clean it, prep the metal to be painted. And so we're going to use basically I'm going to blow everything off to get any surface dust off, and then use acetone to clean it all off. Another thing that you can use is Eastwood's pre-painting prep spray. That does a really good job of cleaning it off. I didn't have any of that. So what we're going to be actually using to paint the frame, the first step is going to be to use their Eastwood's internal frame coating, and this is basically a spray can, and it has a special nozzle with a long tube that has a multi-directional sprayer on it. And so you feed that up through some of the channels that are closed, and then you spray it and draw it along, and that'll actually coat the inside of the frame to prevent rust from the inside out. So I'm going to do that first, because this is actually a green finish one, so you can double check and make sure that you're actually spraying it. That's never going to be on the outside or visible, so why not go with that. And then the next step is going to be to use the Rust Encapsulator Platinum. This can be painted directly on surface rust. I didn't get it all down to bare metal. A lot of the spots, it's got deep pitting and stuff like that. It's not, structurally compromised, but it's just something you can't get rid of. And I probably took it down further than I maybe even needed to go. I just, I wanted to make sure to get as much of the rust off of it as possible. But I've seen, this be painted on still relatively rusty surfaces that you just kind of wire brush off, and it does a great job of actually encapsulating and preventing that rust from spreading, as well as preventing any new rust from forming. This stuff is very hardcore and durable. I chose it. I did research on a lot of the major offerings out there, and this one is a newer offering, and it seemed to be really good. A lot of the reviews were great. They had independent, the salt water testing, where they basically put all the different ones on a piece of metal. They scrape it, and then they see which one can survive this basically beach-like environment where it's just subjected to salt water for 1,500 hours, and this one performed the best. So that was a pretty good thing. I've already used a little bit of it on the back part here, and it seems pretty fantastic. It goes on really well, really smooth. I'm using just a brush. You can spray it with a gun. I don't really have that knowledge, but there's some spots back here that I had to actually go back and weld, or that I'm blending back to actually blend with the new paint going on. And I had to kind of clean some of it up with a wire brush, and it was about impossible to get off once it was painted on there. It took me a while to kind of get it to actually back off, so it sticks really well. So that's going to be going over the entire frame, and then in a couple places I'm using additional products. In the front, where the hitch is, I'm going to be using the Eastwood Extreme Chassis Black, just to paint that front area black. I haven't fully cleaned that off, so it wasn't really that bad. There wasn't rust, so I'm probably just going to sand that some, and then just spray this over it to get a nice new finish. And then on the wheel well sections of the frame, as well as the outriggers that are on the wheel wells, I'm going to be using the rubberized undercoating, which is going to give it additional protection, especially where the tires are, where rocks are chipping up and all that. And I'm going to spray this on the wheel wells as well. So I got some of these, and that's what that's going to be for. I'm also going to be using this on the underbelly and the tank pans to give those additional protection, because that aluminum can get dented real easy. So these are the products we're going to be using. All this stuff, I have done a lot of research, and this seems to be the way to go for my application of my project, so I'm excited to be using these. And now we're gonna get going on it. So the first thing we're gonna do is use the internal frame coating paint to coat the inside of these main beam frame rails in the front here. They have these holes in them, and so I put some saran wrap on it for two reasons. One, I didn't want the paint spraying all over everything else, and two, I thought it'd be cool because this could kind of show you how it works. So like I said, it comes with this tube that goes down in there, and you pop the original nozzle off and stick the new one on. And there you go. So you can see how it put coverage. I can see down in there that it covered it up in there pretty good, and how it's all over that. So I'm going to just continue doing that, going through these frame rails and some of the front ones. I don't know if these center ones need it or not, but I don't know if I can even get anything in there. So I'm just going to continue working on this, and then we'll move on to the next step. Frame all cleaned off, the next thing is going to be to paint. So we got the rust encapsulator and shaking it up really good. We're gonna open it up, and I'm just using like a little paint bucket from Home Depot, and then I have a just normal cheapo brush. This is one for very rough surfaces, which seems appropriate for frame because it's kind of rough. So all right. So I'm just gonna pour a little bit in. I'm probably gonna end up going through this whole, this is a quart size. All right, and just get some on the brush and just start applying like you're painting a beautiful painting. Just like Bob Ross, paint the happy trees and the happy everything else that's happy. We'll just paint the happy Airstream. No, not really. now all painted. This is a huge sigh of relief to get this frame done. This thing has been a ton of work, and I'm glad to just have it behind me. Huge thank you to Eastwood for helping out with the paint and the information for all that. Fantastic products and a fantastic company, so go check them out. There's links for all that below. We're gonna use some more of the stuff that we talked about in the video, like the rubberized coating for the fender wells. I gotta build the fender wells first, obviously. I didn't want to spray the frame and then put the fender wells in and spray them. That just didn't seem, might as well just do it all at once. So that's going to obviously have to happen once the flooring is in and the shell's back down. So look forward to that. Feel free to subscribe to our channel. We're going to have a lot more videos coming about the Airstream renovation and just about what we're doing in life. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.